Hello students, welcome to our next lecture of plant taxonomy. Today we are going to discuss about the natural classification systems. So in our previous lecture we have discussed about the three types of classification systems, that is artificial, natural and phylogenetic system. So out of these three, two are the pre-Darwinian area, and the third one, that is the phylogenetic system, is developed after the Darwin's evolutionary theory of evolution. Okay, so it is a post-Darwinian classification. So these are the two persons, that is George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker, who classified near about 97,000 something plants, more than 97,000 plants, and from 202 orders, or you can say the families, and they actually or physically do this job, have done this classification, so that it is very authentic. So most of the countries, including our country, that is India, they apply this classification system, that is which were proposed by Bentham and Hooker. So today we are going to discuss about this classification system, that is they both are proposed the natural system of classification. So that is the before Darwinian period. Okay, so let's start with this. Look at the outline of Bentham and Hooker system of classification up to series. Okay, so we know that there are a rank of, or the level of categories, or the taxon. That means from species up to the kingdom. So species is the lowest rank of taxon, then genus, then family, then order, then after order class, then division, and all these ranks are given. Okay, so this both of these taxonomists or the scientists, they proposed this system. This system which was proposed by two British botanists, that is George Bentham and Sir Joseph Dalton Hooker. So the period of this that is 1800 to the 1911. So this is the period of their birth and the death. So it is associated with Royal Botanic Garden at Kew, England. Okay, they are associated this classification system which was proposed by this both scientists who were associated with Royal Botanical Garden at Kew, England, which was the which is the most or the world's largest botanical garden in the world. Okay, so this is published. It was published in a book, Genera Plantarum, written in Latin, in 3 volumes. The first of which was published in 1862. So it was that is the classification system. It was published in a book, Genera Plantarum, written in Latin, and which has 3 volumes. The first of which was published in 1862. Okay, so the first edition of this Genera Plantarum was published in 1862, and the third in 1883. So between 62, that is 1862 to 1883, 3 volumes were published by Bentham and Hooker about the classification. Okay, so the natural system, it contains 202 natural orders. So at that time they were pronounced, or they were considered the families into order. Okay, so order means families at that in today we consider that orders in families. Okay, so but Bentham and Hooker, they that is pronounced the orders for that. Okay, बेंथम आणि हुकर म्हणजे आता आपण जेव्हा क्लासिफिकेशन करतो तर वी हॅव कन्सिडर दीज ऑर्डर्स दॅट इज फॅमिलीज. म्हणजे आपण त्या ऑर्डर्सला आता फॅमिली म्हणून ओळखतो, पण त्यावेळेस त्या दोघांनी त्यांना ऑर्डरऐवजी फॅमिलीऐवजी ऑर्डर म्हणून कन्सिडर केलं आहे. ओके, सो आता आपण जर म्हणायला गेलो तर त्यांनी 202 फॅमिलीज हे केल्या, फाइंड आउट केल्या. ओके, म्हणजे आणि या 202 फॅमिलीजमध्ये जेवढ्या काही स्पीसीज होत्या दॅट इज 97,205 प्लांट स्पीसीज त्यांनी आयडेंटिफाय किंवा डिस्क्राईब केल्या. सो these 202 orders, or you can say the families, that include names and description of all genera of seed plants. Okay, that is the angiospermic plants and the gymnospermic, that is seed bearing plants, phanerogams. This is about near about 97,205 plant species. Okay, so Bentham and Hooker divided the seed plants into 3 classes, 3 subclasses, 21 series, 25 cohorts and 202 orders. So all these, that is species, they are divided, all these plants into 3 classes, then 3 subclasses, 21 series, 25 cohorts. Cohorts means today we know them that as a order, that is 25 orders, and 202 orders means families. Okay, so a vast or huge collection and huge study they have done in their time, and it was a great contribution in the field of taxonomy. Okay, so it is a very authentic and very useful and very easy classification systems that we still use these systems now, because it contains all the parameters, all the characters, and it is easy that is to follow that classification system. Okay, so this is the about the Bentham and Hooker system of classification, and the authors have given accurate and exhaustive description of the plants and also keys for their identification, as it is based on their personal observation. Okay, so because personally or physically or personally they studied each and every plants that have mentioned in this that is in their books, okay, in their publications. So they have given us a very accurate and exhaustive description of that of all the plants they have studied, and also they have provided us the keys for their identification, as it is based on their personal observation. So that's why this classification system is much more authentic and much more practical, okay, and easy to understand. So this system was widely accepted by the entire British Empire and United States also, and to some extent in Europe countries they also accepted this classification system. Okay, so all the British Empire and United States already they accepted that Bentham and Hooker system of classification, and some part of the Europe, or to some extent Europe also accepted it. So it is followed in many parts of the world and also in our country. Okay, so It is followed in many parts. In our country, we also use the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. British herbaria such as at Kew and the British Museum and most of the Indian herbarias and floras have been arranged according to this system. So both of them work together for about more than 25 years. So 25 years of their study, they have given their 25 years of their that is for studying or for identifying, for describing all these plants. Okay, so and after that they and that is develop this system of classification, that is Bentham and Hooker system of classification. Okay, so most of the herbarias, most of the museums, including Indian herbarians, they also follow this system. So the according to these classification systems, the herbarias, they are arranged in that museum, okay, or in the herbariums. So okay, so this is the outline of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification. So first of all the plants, that the kingdom Plantae, it is divided into two parts. So whatever the plants they are present on the earth, they are divided into two parts. That is, first part is non-flowering plants and the other part is flowering plants. So basically or broadly, two groups are formed according to the flowers are present or absent. So some group of the plants, they don't show flowering, and some group of the plants, they show flowering. So they are divided broadly into two categories, that is flowering and non-flowering plants, also known as flowering plants, also known as phanerogams, and non-flowering plants, they are known as cryptogams. Okay, so this system now we apply to this flowering plants, that is the phanerogamia or phanerogams. Now these phanerogams, they are divided into three parts. According to Bentham and Hooker, they are divided into three parts. The first one is dicotyledons and the other part is monocotyledon. Okay, so phanerogams, they that includes the seed bearing plants or the flowering plants. The seed bearing plants, they are angiosperms and gymnosperm. But according to Bentham and Hooker, these angiosperms already they divided into two parts, that is dicotyledon and monocotyledon, because angiosperms contains two types of plants, that is seed plants, flowering plants contains two types of plants, that is this one of the group shows the shows the seeds having two cotyledons, and another group shows the seeds having one cotyledon. So on the basis of that, they are divided into two, that is dicotyledons and monocotyledons. Along with this dicotyledon and monocotyledon, Bentham and Hooker placed the gymnosperms in between these two. That is, angiosperm and gymnosperm both are the flowering and seed bearing plants. Angiosperm is divided into dicot and monocot. Okay, and then gymnosperm. But Bentham and Hooker placed the gymnosperms in between the dicot and monocot. First is dicotyledon, then gymnosperm, and then monocotyledon. Okay. Now these dicotyledonous plants, they are again divided into, that is subclass Polypetalae, Gamopetalae and Monoclamidae. So according to the petals, according to the arrangement of petals, these are again divided into three parts, that is Polypetalae, Gamopetalae and Monoclamidae. So what is the Polypetalae? Polypetalae means, poly means free, and petal means the flowers, that is the second whorl of the flower. Okay, So those plants in which the flowers shows polypetalous condition, that means the petals of that flower, they are free. Petals of that flower is free, that is polypetally. So all the plants which shows the flowers having the free petals, they are all included in polypetally. And in gamopetally the petals are fused. Gamo means fused. Okay, so all the plants having showing the flowers having closed petals, they are included in gamopetally. Okay, then monoclamidy. Monoclamidy, that is other than that is instead of that is calyx and corolla, the two whorls of the flowers, it contains only a one whorl. Okay, that is known as perianth. So the perianth is present, hence it is a monoclamidy. Okay, then monocotyledony. Dicotyledon has three subclasses, that is polypetally, gamopetally and monoclamidy. Okay, then monocotyledons, they do not have the subclasses, they are not divided into subclasses, direct they show the series. Okay, after subclass, these polypetally again divided into three series. This gamopetally is also divided into three series, and this monoclamidy is also, that is there are some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 series that is included in monoclamidy. Okay, and in monocotyledon there are 7 series. So up to series Bentham and Hooker, that is classification, is given in your syllabus. So this polypetally is again divided into 3 series on the basis of the thalamus, the structure or the shape of the thalamus. So the first one is thalamiflory, second is deciflory, and the third one is calyciflory. So detailed description we will see in next slide. So thalamiflory, it contains 6 orders and 34 families. Then deciflory, it contains 4 orders and 22 families. Then calyciflory, it contains 5 orders and 27 families. Then come to the gamopetally. Gamopetally again shows the 3 series, that is inferi, heteromeri and bicarpellate. So this inferi consists of 3 orders and 9 families. Heteromeri contains 3 orders and 12 families. And bicarpellate contains 4 orders and 23 families. So this is the gamopetally. Now monoclamidy. Monoclamidy shows or has 8 that is series. So series 1 is curve embry, which shows or which contains 6 families. Then multi-ovulate aquatici having 1 family. Then multi-ovulate terrestris having 3 families. Then micro embry 4 families. Then daphnails, that is 5 families. Acclamidiospori, that is 3 families. Unisexuals shows 9 families. And Ordina anomaly, that is 9 families. Okay, so this is the outline of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification, that is included in dicotyledony, polypetally, gamopetally and monoclamidy. This now the monocotyledony, it shows the 7 series. Microspermy with 3 families. Then epigyne, that is 7 families. Coronary, which contains 8 families. Calycini, which contains 5 families. Then Nudiflora contains 5 families. Apocarpi contains 3 families, and Glumaceae, it contains the 5 families. Okay, so this is the monocotyledon. Overall, that is the outline of this classification. Now we will see one by one, that is in short or in detail about this classification. So let's start with the first class, that is Dicotyledone. So Dicotyledone is the part of Angiosperm. Okay, division Angiosperm, then class Dicotyledone. So 2 cotyledons, then taproot system, stem branch, leaf shows reticulate venation, pentamerous flowers, vascular bundles arranged in a ring. These are all characters of dicotyledons. So all the plants which fulfill all these characters, they are included in dicotyledon. So those plants which shows in their seed 2 cotyledons, then which shows the taproot system in their root, then stem of that plants, they are branches are there, then leaf shows the reticulate venation, then it has a pentamerous flower, and vascular bundles, they are arranged in a sequence, arranged in a particular ring. Okay, so this is the character about class Dicotyledone. Now this Dicotyledone, as we seen in the previous slide, that this Dicotyledone is divided into, that is polypetally, camopetally, and monoclamidae, that is subclasses are. These are the subclasses of class Dicotyledone. So this subclass polypetally, which shows, that is the petals, they are distinct and free. So all the petals, they are free. Okay, it includes 3 series, that is Thalamiflorae, Deciflorae, and Calyciflorae, on the basis of the shape of the thalamus. So in case of Thalamiflorae, thalamus is conical, and which shows the hypogynous flower. So what does it mean? Hypo means below, and gynous means the gynoecium. Okay, so in this flower, position of the ovary, that is the gynoecium, is always superior. That is, all the flower has 4 valves. Okay, after the discussion about the classification of these systems, we will that is discuss on the flowering structure. It's all the parts of the flower, then all the terminologies which are related with the morphology of the that is plant, angiospermic plant. We will all discuss it later. Okay, so you only try to understand what's the meaning of all these things. So thalamus means, the thalamus is the part of the that is flower, on which there is a presence of 4 whorls. Which are these 4 whorls? That first whorl is calyx, then second is corolla, then third one is androecium, and the fourth one is gynoecium. Okay, so this thalamus, on which all these 4 whorls are that is placed, this is a conical in shape. So somewhat, that is bulge or the conical shape, and on that conical shape, the gynoecium, which is present in the middle, that is, it is the 4th or the innermost whorl of the flower, and after gynoecium there is a presence of androecium, then after androecium, then petals, and then calyx. Okay, so the position of this gynoecium is superior, that is, it is placed above all the 3 whorls. Okay, so, and or you can say all the three whorls, that is androecium, then petals and the calyx, all the three whorls, they arises from below the gynoecium. Their position, it is that is below to the gynoecium, below to the ori. Under the ori, all these three whorls, they arises. Okay, so that's why position of ori is superior and hypo means below, gynous below the gynoecium. That means all the three whorls, they are present below the gynoecium. Hence the flower, that type of flower in which ori is superior and all the three whorls, they are present below that ori or below that gynoecium, is known as hypogynous flower. Okay, so on the basis of that character, all the plants which are included in polypetalae. So first of all, the plants which shows the dicotyledony character, they are grouped into one place. Then in that group, there are also a differences. So on the basis of flowers, petals free, petals fused or absent, these are divided into three subclasses: polypetalae, gamopetalae and monoclymide. When we focused only on the polypetalae, that means all the plants in that polypetalae, they shows the flowers which shows the or which has the free petals. Okay, so again in that group, that is polypetalae, on the basis of the structure of thalamus, they are again divided into three parts that we are known as the series. So all the polypetalous member, all the polypetalae plants, they are grouped into again three parts. So in some plants, the thalamus is conical and ori is superior. That means hypogynous flower is present. So then related with that character, some of the plants, they are placed, that is away from that of the other plants. Then again from this second group, again some of the plants shows that their thalamus of their flower is disc shape. It is a disc shape, and flower is again hypogynous flower, but the thalamus is not conical, but it is a disc shape, and on that disc there is a nectar or nectar gland is present, or nectariferous disc is present. So all those plants which shows this type of characters, they are separated. Okay, so first group there is separated on the basis of which characters, that is there all the plants, all the flowers of that plants, they shows the conical thalamus and hypogynous flower. So in that group, in the group of polypetalae, one group shows the hypogynous flower and the second group shows the perigynous flower. But in one group, that is which shows the that is hypogynous flower, again divided into two parts on the basis of the shape of the thalamus. In one group the thalamus is conical, and the other group the thalamus is disc shape, and also the nectariferous disc is also present. So in this way three groups are formed. The first group which shows the thalamus conical and hypogynous flower. Second group, thalamus disc shape and hypogynous flower. And the third third series is caliciflorae. Caliciflorae, it shows a cup shaped structure, that is a somewhat concave structure. Thalamus is concave or cup shape, and the flower is perigynous. So what is the meaning of perigynous flower? Perigynous means the position of ovary, that is gynoecium, and all the three whorls, they are at the same line. No one is inferior and no one is superior. No one is inferior and no one is superior. So all the whorls, they are present at the same level. That is known as the perigynous flower. Okay. So this subclass, that is Polypetalae, it includes three series on the basis of structure of thalamus, that is Thalamiflorid, Deciflorid and the Caliciflorid. Okay. After that, the second subclass, that is Gamopetalae. Now this Gamopetalae, that means the flowers are that is the petals of the flowers are fused. So petals united or fused, and calyx and corolla, they are also present. Okay, like that of the Polypetalae. But Polypetalae petals are free, in Gamopetalae petals are fused. Okay, then it also divided into three series. Okay, on the basis of again the structure of flower. So the first one is inferi, then heteromeri and the bicarpellate. So what are the characters of inferi? Inferi means stamens as many as corolla lobes, and the main character which is related to that name is the ovary inferior. So in case of hypogynous flower, in Thalamiflorid and Deciflorid, ovary is superior. That means all the whorls, they are present below the ovary. But here the condition is opposite. That is, ovary, position of ovary is inferior, not superior. If it is inferior, that means all the whorls, all the three whorls, that is calyx, corolla and androecium, they are placed above the ovary. So their position is above the ovary. Hence ovary's position is inferior and all the three whorls position is superior. So in case of inferior, or in case of flowers which shows this type of position of ovary, this type of condition, that flower is known as epigynous flower. That means in inferi there is a presence of epigynous flower which shows the inferior ovary. Okay, not superior, inferior. Epi means above and gynous means gynoecium. So all the three whorls, they are present above the gynoecium. Hence it is epigynous. And in case of hypogynous flower, all the whorls, they are present below the gynoecium. That means position of gynoecium is superior. In case of epigynous flower, position of gynoecium is inferior. Okay, clear? So in inferi, ovary is inferior, and the second character is stamens as many as corolla lobes. So stamens means it is a part of androecium. It is a unit of androecium. Okay, so the number of androecium is as that of the number of petals. So if there are 5 petals, then 5 stamens are there, 5 androecium are there. So the stamens, that is the number of stamens is as many as that of the corolla lobes, or you can say the petals. Then the second series is heteromeri. In this case, ovary, position of ovary is superior, that means flower is hypogynous. Then stamens as many as corolla lobes or more. Carpels more than 2. So concentrate on that point. In first case, inferis, ovary is inferior. In case of heteromeri, ovary is superior. The similar character between the inferi and heteromeri is stamens as many as corolla lobes. This is the similar character, and different character is ori inferior in inferi and ori superior in heteromeri. Again one point, it shows the difference in between heteromeri and bicarpellity is carpels more than 2. Carpels means it is a unit of gynoecium, and in this gynoecium the gynoecium is made up of carpels, and if the carpel is present in more than 2 number, then it is included in heteromeri. Then the third series is bicarpellity. In bicarpellity, carpels 2. Bi means 2 and carpellate means carpels. So those flowers which shows only 2 carpels, which have only 2 carpels and stamens as many as corolla lobes. So this character, that is stamens as many as corolla lobes, it is present all the 3 series, that is inferi, heteromeri and bicarpellity. So it is a similar character between these 3. The difference is ori, the position of ori. In case of inferi, ori position is inferior. In case of heteromeri, position of ori is superior. Okay. Then in heteromeri, carpels, they are present more than 2 in number. But in bicarpellity, bi means 2. Carpels always remain 2 and ori superior. So the stamens as many as corolla lobes and ori superior, they are the similar characters present in both, that is bicarpellity and heteromeri. So the difference is between these two is about the number of carpels. So in case of heteromeri, there is always a presence of more than 2 carpels, but in case of bicarpellity, there is a presence of only 2 carpels. So on the basis of that characters, those plants which shows a particular that is the series character, it is included in that series, or it is included in that particular category. Okay, so this is the second subclass, that is Gamopetalae. Now the third subclass is the Monoclamidae. Now this Monoclamidae, or it is also known as the Apetalae, because there is no difference, there is not any differentiation of calyx and corolla. So here perianth may be present or absent. Perianth means instead of 2 whorls, there is a presence of only 1 whorl. Either it may looks like a calyx or it may looks like a corolla. In some cases it is absent. So apetalae means absence of petals. So perianth may be present or absent, but there is no that is 2 types of whorls are present, that is calyx and corolla. So always a perianth is present, or instead of this calyx and corolla, always a perianth is present, or it may be absent in some plants also. So it is also divided into this series, that is 8 series. First is curve emery. Curve emery means the why the name is given, that is curve emery. Curve means somewhat curve shape and emery means embryo. So all these plants which shows their seeds embryo, shape of their seeds embryo is curve shape. So on the basis of curved shaped embryo, the name is given, that is curve emery. The another character of this series is uni or bisexual flower, ori superior and ovule 1. So it contains unisexual or bisexual flower. So unisexual means only one sex organ is present, either male or female. Bisexual means both the sex organs are present. So this curve emery series, it contains both types of flowers, uni or bisexual. Ori is always superior, and ovule is 1. That is, each seed it contains one ovule. Each ori contains one ovule. And specific character is embryo is curved shape. Okay. Then multi-ovulate aquatica. So what does it mean? Multi-ovulate. Multi means more. Ovulate means ovules. So those plants which shows many number of ovules, it are included in multi-ovulate. Aquatica means living in water. So all the plants which are living in water, that is aquatic habitat, and which shows the multiple ovules in them. And ori is syncarpus. Syncarpus means fused. All the carpels, they are fused to form a single structure. So all these characters, they are the character that is the present in the those plants, and those plants, they are included in multi-ovulate aquatica. Then third series is multi-ovulate terrestris. So it is multi-ovulate, the same character, that is multi-ovulate aquatica and multi-ovulate terrestris. They shows the multiple number of ovules in them, but the main difference in their habitat, that is the first one is the aquatic habitat, and the terrestris means it is a terrestrial habitat. Okay. The another character is they are herbaceous or shrubby. Then ovules many. Okay. And ori is syncarpus, like that of the multi-ovulate aquatica. Then the fourth series is microembryo. Micro means very minute, small, and embryo means against embryo. So in this series, the plant contains a minute embryo in their seed. So minute embryo in endosperm, and another character is ovule 1, ori, apocarpus or syncarpus. So ori, the carpels of that ori, they may be free or they may be fused. If they are free, they are known as apocarpus, and if they are fused, they are known as syncarpus. Okay. So this is the third class of the polypetalae. So the one thing is similar in all the three subclasses, that is their flowers shows the free petals. Okay. So polypetalae, gamopetalae and monoclamidae. Then in monoclamidae, the next series is daphnes. So it shows flowers bisexual, perianth cephaloid, carpel 1 and ovule 1. So it shows the following characters. Flower are bisexual, then perianth is somewhat calyx type, that is green or in color, or hence it is known as cephaloid. Ovule 1 in number. Okay. Carpel is also 1 and ovule is also 1. Then the next is sixth series is Achlamydospore. In this, the characteristic of this series is ori usually inferior. It is unilocular also, showing only a one locule. Then perianth either petaloid or cephaloid. Perianth, in case of daphnes, perianth is always cephaloid, but in case of Achlamydospore, it is either cephaloid or petaloid. Okay. Then sixth one is unisexuals. So as the name suggests, the flower shows only one sex organ. That means it is unisexual flower. So flowers are always unisexual. Perianth is absent in this flower, ori 1 or more, and united, that is syncarpus condition. Then the last series is Ordinis anomaly. That means all the plants which do not match with the other series, or if there is a confusion on the basis of their characters, the author when confused, so where it may be it may be placed, then there is a uncertainty of this of about that plants. So all types such type of plants that is the which shows the uncertain relationship, so that plants are always kept in a Ardennes anomaly. So their flowers usually unisexuals. Okay, so this is about the Bentham and Hooker's classification. That is one part we have discussed, that is the dicotyledonous plant part. So dicotyledonous part shows three subclasses: polypetally, gamopetally and monoclymide, and all these three that is subclasses, it shows the following series, and all the following series have their specific characteristics. Okay, so this is for the this is in for this lecture now, and we will discuss the monocotyledons and other parts of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification in our next chapter, that is lecture. Okay, so if you have any doubt regarding this classification or previous about our previous lecture, so please convey me. I will clear your doubts certainly, and give me your feedback, uh, uh, and convey your difficulties. So this is the end of today's lecture.